Well, I hope, Adam Silver, I hope you're happy with yourself. You got what you wanted. You got Sam Presti a championship. On the surface, that is the dumbest statement in the world because it's not like Adam Silver wants the Oklahoma City Thunder to win an NBA championship ever. There are just some markets he does not want to win. Oklahoma City, Charlotte, you know the ones. So it's not like he was begging for Oklahoma City to have this incredible run that ends in an NBA championship. He, like every commissioner in sports, wants the big ones to win. New York, LA. What I mean by that is I sit here and I watch over on my TV, Adam Silver and his worm head get down there, is Sam Presti was allowed to run after Sam Hinkie walked. And it amazes me. As a Sixers fan, this irks the hell out of me. Because I watched the process from beginning to end. I watched Sam Hinkie start it, and I watched Sam Hinkie be forced out. I think a lot of times we do forget he left on his own, but he left on his own because his power was taken away from him. And why was his power taken away from him? Because Adam Silver didn't like the look for the NBA that Sam Hinkie was projecting. So he called up Josh Harris and he said, this has got to stop. I'm going to force upon you a 60-year-plus NBA vet that has never won a championship. His name's Jerry Colangelo. And what he's going to do is he is going to bring in his son. There will be no other interviews. It's the only time in sports I can ever remember there was a GM opening and there was one interview. Hey, Jerry, who are we interviewing for this GM job? My son, Brian. Okay, Brian. Anybody else? Like, anybody? Nah, it's just Brian. That's what happened. And we saw what Brian Colangelo did. We saw him pass on some really, really good players to draft the TLCs of the world, to do the Euro stashes that never came over, never panned out. The Pachechnich kid. We saw him trade up for Markelle Fultz. I'm not going to blame him on that because I think history forgets that there weren't many Sixers fans clamoring for Jason Tatum at the time. I was working in sports radio. I took the calls for, 3% of calls were, hey, why don't we look at this Jason Tatum kid? Everybody else was like, Markelle Fultz is the guy. So I can't really blame Colangelo on that. Nobody was banking on Markelle Fultz losing his shot during an off-season workout. Nobody was banking on Ben Simmons forgetting how to play basketball and never regaining his form ever again because of a mental block. You're not banking on those things. They happen. I get it. But the fact is, Sam Presti was allowed to cook. He was allowed to do what Sam Hinkie did. Sam Hinkie realized, this is not rocket science. I don't need a math degree to realize that in order to win a championship, you need really good players. What's the best way to get the really good players? Be high at the draft. How do you get to be a high pick at the draft? You got to lose games. We're going to compile a bad roster for a few years. We're going to lose a lot of games. We're going to hopefully, and that's the key, hopefully get some generational talent, and then we will compete for a championship. Did it work? No, hasn't worked yet. Some would argue the process is done. Some would argue the process is still continuing because of Joel Embiid, because you got the crown jewel. You got the 7'2" unicorn. And we all know that Joel Embiid goes, or the Sixers go as Joel Embiid goes. If Joel Embiid is healthy, the Sixers will be good. If Joel Embiid is injured, the Sixers have no shot. I think that gets lost in all of this. You take the best player off any team. You take Tatum off the Celtics. You take Giannis off the Bucks. You take Shea off of Oklahoma City. We saw what happened with Tyrese Halliburton tonight. You take those guys off, you're not going to win. So the idea that a Sixers roster with a banged-up Joel Embiid, even going at 50%, they were never going to win. And I was blinded by it. I thought eventually he would get healthy. He didn't this past season. He didn't get healthy. But if he comes into next season and he's healthy, and maybe that's a fool's errand on my part, like maybe that is just naivete to think that Joel Embiid, a guy who's never been healthy, would finally get healthy. But if he does, if he is healthy, they're going to go far. But the idea that that Sam Hinkie was not allowed to complete the process because the NBA was embarrassed, I guess. But Sam Presti was allowed to do the same thing is annoying to me. Very, very annoying. I'm not here to tell you that if Sam Hinkie were allowed to complete the process, it's the Sixers tonight instead of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I have no idea. You know? And credit to Sam Presti. Like, he maneuvered that Paul George trade better than anyone could have imagined. You get an MVP in Shea in that trade. Like, credit to him. I don't know how many people, when that trade went down, saw an MVP candidate in Shea, but they got one. You end up losing, though, a lot of games, and what do? You get Chet Holmgren, his running mate. You end up getting an undrafted free agent in Lou Dort, who's this shutdown defensive player. And why were you able to get him? Because you were losing on purpose, so your team was so bad you were able to take some chances with guys that were undrafted. Just like the Sixers were able to take chances with guys like TJ McConnell, who were undrafted. Because at that point, winning it didn't matter. So it just annoys me that I'm looking at Sam Presti ready to accept an NBA championship from that alien. And I can't help but think, man, that could be the Sixers. It could have been. But it wasn't allowed. Because for one half a season, he was mad that the Sixers started out the season without a point guard. He was mad the Sixers were just accumulating assets and draft picks and trying to maneuver the situation, and they didn't really care about winning games. In fact, they wanted to do the opposite. They wanted to lose games, and they wanted to identify talent. It's just annoying. I do believe the Sixers are in for a much better season next year. Once again, might be naivete. I think that with a healthy roster, and that's the biggest key to all of this, but with a healthy roster, if you have a healthy Joel Embiid, a healthy Paul George, a healthy Tyrese Maxey, take Paul George out of it too. If you just have a healthy Tyrese Maxey and a healthy Joel Embiid, team's going to be pretty good. Team's going to go far. You were able to, get some key players. Let's see if Yabu comes back. I would expect a lot of the guys that had options to opt back in. So, let's see what happens. But this was my worst case scenario, and I did a whole video about who I was cheering for in the finals with both the NHL and the NBA. Both teams lost. I cooked both of them. But the reason why I wanted the Indiana Pacers to win was twofold. It was TJ McConnell, and it was to keep Sam Presti from getting this. Because somewhere tonight, Sam Hinkie is in Palo Alto, and he's watching this. And it's got to be crossing his mind. If only I were allowed to finish the job I was hired to do. But no. Adam Silver stepped in, he intervened, and then he allowed Sam Presti to do the exact same thing and cook. It's bullshit. All right. Am I way off base? You can let me know in the comments section. Subscribe, you know where that button is. Like, you know where that button is. Dislike, you know where that button is. Hit the thumbs down button if you completely disagree with me. I am going to go put on a movie and try to forget about all this.